Today's interview is brought to you by Macabre Marketing. If you're in the indie horror field, movies, authors, YouTubers, and podcasters, check out Macabre Marketing. They are amazing when it comes to press releases, interviews, social media management. They know how to put your name out there. And if you're in the indie horror, you definitely need that upper hand to help you stand out. So please check out Macabre Marketing and tell them that the Horror Room sent you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have a special guest with us today. I have a horror author, and she has a new book out right now. It's called The Cat That Caught the Canary. I have Antoinette Corvo with us. Antoinette, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So tell everybody a little bit about The Cat That Caught the Canary.
Okay. It is a little bit full of debauchery,
Okay.
but other than that, it's really a psycho thriller, to be honest with you. And it takes place in New York. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. You write what you know. And it's basically a story about an actress who will ultimately do absolutely anything to reach the top. And it's very um, it's very strange. I will admit it. It's a strange story because it sort of actually mirrors the lifespan of a cat. So it's almost like a born, leave, grow up, make it on your own, kill the competition, and I turned it into a theater story. So she's basically willing to claw her way to the top, but she uses a knife. So I'll just let you know that.
And this is something that's pretty common, I mean, in any field, whether it be the corporate America to the acting room, where
hmm
some people are so thirsty to get to that top, they'll do a little bit
Oh,
of anything.
yes, yes, I've absolutely known several people who actually behave that way, and it's just being in the spotlight can just really make people go psycho. They'll just make it top priority. I got to be on top. I got to be. I have to have all the attention in the world, and she brings it to a brand new level. She starts off being a young girl, an Italian American goody good girl, and she loses her best friend, and she's very lonely in this Italian American family. She's first generation, and she just snaps one day. And as a teen, she decides to go about and live her own life. And she just really just completely snaps. And people do take advantage of her. Predatory. She's beautiful. And from there on, she thinks she could be forever young. She's almost fighting who she is, and complications happen, but what makes it ultimately strange is there's a lot of ingredients to it. It's a theater that's in a hotel that's also very art deco and from the 1920s, and the people in this hotel are the theater troupe. And what happens really ultimately is they drug and take in young people, actresses, and you know abuse them, and they basically just try to bring in the young ones. And when the young ones come in, she's all in a dither. Oh my god, a
Mhm.
competition, and you know off with their heads, but not that way. So
It's kind of sucks and it's strange that in society, especially in filmmaking, theater, when it comes to women, women kind of have a shelf life in society's
yeah,
eyes, and they're always on the look for that fresh, new, young person.
yeah,
And I mean, I see that when it comes to just Hollywood. Male actors have a long shelf life. They can be the leading man in their
yeah.
80s, and
Some
women,
of them, some of them are actually
Mhm.
better looking older. That's the funny thing. They don't have to wear makeup. They
True.
can't wear eyeliner. They don't have to wear blush. I mean, women have a lot more pressure on them, and society just kicks them to the curb once they hit a certain age, and they don't like being told that they're of a certain age either. So once that happens, it's their ego. I can't play a grandmother. I can't be that. I'm America's sweetheart. I mean, it's almost like a whatever happened to Baby Jane type of horror, so to
Hmm.
speak, but a little stranger.
So, what gave you some inspiration besides real world society for this book?
um, Actually, what happened was I actually always wanted to be a theater actress, but I was never able to because of stage fright. And long story short, the idea came to me. I also loved cats because I lived in an apartment, so all I can have were cats. And it just came to me, just this weird combination. And as I was writing, which happens to most authors as they're writing, just ideas come to them too. And you write what you know, and you also kind of, if you're a weird person like me and you want to think out of the box and it looks good and feels right, you just do it and you write it. So what inspired me was the theater world, and also my cats, and also in most all books and stories about everything I write, I have fragments of myself in there. Things like predatory things didn't happen, but losing losing the ability to sing, to perform, to do anything like that at 16 as a horror fan and as a avid reader, I needed to use my voice another way. So I've just been writing and writing and reading and writing and reading and writing, and this was actually the one that took me the shortest to write. So it
Really?
just, yeah, it just came together and it worked out. It's a novella,
Hmm.
so that's probably the thing about it. It jumps a lot, but not intentionally, but quasi intentionally, because you're trying to mirror a cat here, and they don't really exactly live as, long as a human. And the interesting parts are
Hmm.
jump, 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 jump. So,
And one thing recently, so I have fell in love with our women horror authors books. And this
oh,
has been a brand new thing that, with that stuff on my YouTube channel. I've interviewed a lot of women authors. And I mean, it's some of the amazing work. I mean, I also love interviewing women horror authors because it's amazing conversations.
yeah, it's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, I mean, in the horror world, really, you don't hear that many voices of women, but I don't understand why. We do love horror. We are horror fans. I mean, look at every horror con you can go to and imagine. You see them all there, and half of them are
Yeah,
dressed up, and
yeah,
they know more about a lot of horror than men do. And for some reason, it's just horror, and even video games. They're just not associated with women for some reason. And there is a hardcore lineup of fans who are female and women and the writing field too. And it's not always a romantic story. We're not
yes.
all soft and
Twilight.
cuddling. God, yeah, when God bless. No, I don't offend any, romance horror novelists or anything like that. But some of us are pretty like hardcore. I think one splatterpunk author, I think was her name Sam West, and she used the name Sam because people wouldn't expect a female to write splatterpunk. I could be getting her name wrong. I am so sorry. But I do have her books, so but yeah, I mean, we love the genre, and a lot of the actors in the films are the sweetest of women too, and they'll be at the cons too, and they love and embrace it. So
I
it's pretty
agree.
neat. It's pretty
Yeah,
neat.
man.
Yeah.
I definitely fell into that stereotype of where I was like, I'm not, I love reading horror novels. I was like, this is about a woman. This might be, Anne Rice. This might be Twilight, super romantic
Mhm.
horror. And it's not true. I mean, in the year 2023, it's not true anymore. There was a
Exactly. Yeah.
time it was that way, but not anymore. I mean, women are definitely can be as vicious and ruthless and vengeful in
Caddy.
the horror and catty in the horror as men.
We are no different. That's the thing. When it comes to
Exactly.
creativity, it's really just a free for all of who can get to that top um, faster, sooner, whatever means possible. Some,
Hmm.
and there are other kinds of fans who are horror who do write things that aren't, like I was saying, all like warm Twilight and, lovers and things like that. We get pretty damn gritty too, and we pretty much go see these movies too. And maybe some women also hide it. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe it's a little off-putting to some people to hear that, hey, I just wanted to go see the movie Hostel and I love all the Saw movies and I like seeing all the gore and all of that and I'm a gore horror. So, well,
Hmm.
I'm a gore horror. So I think it's a little bit more difficult maybe for them to be less effeminate and nurturing and all of that, which is beautiful too within itself. I mean, no offense to anybody, all these authors work really hard, whatever the, subgenre is of horror. I won't insult any kind of horror, whether new movies, old movies, anything. They put so much work into it. And yeah, so it's really kind of unexpected often to feel that you're not kind of like fitting you know, the mold of what
Well,
a woman likes to watch. So
did you do you think a lot of women authors at one point in horror were doing this because they knew that it sold, and maybe it wasn't because they were passionate about, but they know that this is what got buyers.
I'm not sure because, to be honest with you, the most successful female authors are the more gothic romantic ones, and that's beautiful. I love Anne Rice. God bless her.
Hmm.
And I think there's like almost a stigma to that. And maybe they are afraid that if it's a woman, hey, that may sell. I mean, the first woman, I don't write splatterpunk, but hey, I'm the first woman splatterpunk who made it successful, or I'm the first gore whore who made it successful. I mean, they can use that as their, you know, MO to,
Hmm.
climb the ladder. But I think it's kind of unlikely. I think it has to do with them. There's the ruthless ones, of course, like
Hmm.
anybody, men and female. And then there are the females who are kind of a little like men, hesitant and don't want the world to think their imagination is their reality. And there's going to be something, when they look at you, they're going to think, wait, she's a weirdo. She likes, people's throats being cut, or she's like, and she's gross. She curses. She hates this type of people. She hates that kind of people. Meanwhile, it's just art, it's creativity. And I think people should lighten up on that too about creativity. It's just a story. It doesn't mean or reflect anything on any women
Hmm.
who love horror. And it doesn't have to be mainstream, it could be whatever you like. And I think there is a stigma, and I think a lot of it has to do with fear.
But
They'll
isn't it?
meet they'll like
No,
meet a guy and say, "Yep." No, I apologize.
no, okay.
I'm
No, you're
I'm a
fine.
talk I'm
No,
a
you're fine.
talker.
But
Uh,
is this some of the fun of horror? Is that it's a little offensive?
I
Isn't it the
love
fun of
that.
horror?
Oh
Is
my
that
God.
it's offensive?
Yes, I want to be like disturbed. I want to hear the wrong thing. It's supposed to be horrific. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you watch a movie like just throwing out there, like Requiem for a Dream,
Mm-hmm.
Darren Aronofsky films, Black Swan. Those are horrors, and they're thought provoking a lot, and they're
Yes.
just creativity, and you want to be bothered. Like if you're a gore fan, you want to see guts and gore. If
Exactly.
you want to see a movie about a disturbed person who's, doing terrible drugs, or, having explicit moments in the story in a book or anything, why not? Have at it. You want to be bothered. You want to be disturbed. You want to think, and you want to feel the horror, whether it's feeling spooked out or the horror of, wait, this can actually happen if it's a home invasion. or the horror of, oh my God, there are actually people out there who are like
Like,
this. So, I mean, horror is a very broad term. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I want to be bothered. I love being bothered. I like to go to bed thinking, "Oh my God, ooh, that was interesting. I like that. I like that." One,
exactly,
you want to think. You want to think.
exactly. Now, do you think that now that we're in the PC culture, which is nothing wrong with, but do you think the PC culture it has hindered horror artists from going but so far?
It's very possible. I think humor suffered that more. I think comedy suffered
Yes.
that more. With horror, I think it became more, and I'm not insulting any films. I know how much her work, I told you, goes into it.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of it is making money. A lot of it is make reboots, make success of already successful um, movies or series or something that's familiar. Bring the new generation of fans from like 80s kids to like now, like let the teens of now see what 40, what we grew up with, basically.
Same age,
So
yeah.
yeah, same, yeah. So it's like our generation, I don't have any kids, but they want to make them watch what they watched. So they'll
Mhm.
reboot it. Meanwhile, like kindly, like people like you,
Mhm.
will interview all of us indie writers, and they're looking for the next Stephen King or Anne Rice. It's very commercial driven. And if they know it's going to sell, they'll do it. And it's more, I think, greed based than anything else.
And that's what I love about the indie, when whether it be filmmaking or even authors, you guys don't care about that. Like you guys care about your
Yeah,
actual passion, your actual thoughts, and it's not all necessary. I mean, yes, to make some money is always great, but it's not all
sure.
about that money. You don't have that big studio or big publishing standing over you saying, "Nope, this is how we want it because this
hmm
is what sells."
I call it trained seal syndrome, where they
Yes.
kind of edit you and they tell you, like you're part of the machine, what to do, how your ending's going to be, where you're going to be, what you're going to do, how it's going to, your brand or whatever, you kind of lose yourself. And I always said I'd rather be underrated and respected than commercial and not writing my own stories out there. It's kind of sad, but like I said, it's greed a lot of
Awesome.
times.
So, do you have any writing rituals? When is writing time? Like, do you put on some Rihanna? Do you put on some Alanis Morissette? Do you pour a glass of wine? Do you light a cigar? What are some of your
Uh,
rituals when it's writing time?
normally I do hear a lot of music. Music is, it's funny you said that, is a really big inspiration and it helps me. Uh, but my ritual is actually pretty odd. I just keep writing on paper, sequences and sequences and sequences. So by the time I'm ready to hit the keys, I just go on an all-nighter marathon. And then the next day, rest a little, relax, eat, you know, all of that. And then boom, go back to marathoning hours upon hours until I know my head can't make a sentence anymore. And I'll just keep going at it and at it and at it. So I like to do the old school way of actually writing on paper first. I have tons of notebooks and I prefer doing that. So I have it right in front of me on paper. I can
Mhm.
just scratch, put notes, this, and everything like that. And I don't judge anybody, but I don't like to do that. Oh, let me do 1,000 words at a time to get myself motivated. It's just your body lets you know my peak is usually at night. I'm pretty useless in the day to even be creative. I just
Yeah.
can't be. It's just my rhythm. Yeah.
Now, have you ever gotten to a point? It could even be with a cat called the Canary that you've gotten all the way to the end, and you're like, "Oh shit, I don't like this ending. Let me go ahead and just."
Actually, my mom is an English lit professor, so she loves horror, and I let her read a couple of them beforehand, and she'll point out once in a while, it shouldn't end that way. It should be believe it or not, this is my mom. It should be sadder. You shouldn't have a happy ending with this story. And I think about it, I'm like, yeah, she's right. And she'll like toss the ball with me and give me some feedback. And I am a team player. I love feedback. I like anything constructive that will help the story. So yeah, there are moments where I read it or I'll read it afterwards and I'll go, oh, holy Jesus wept. I'll go, oh my God, what was I thinking when I wrote that goddamn effing sentence? And I judge myself very harshly, as I'm sure we all do, but
Yes.
I judge myself very harshly on my own things. But people seem to like it and have faith in me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling that great about me right now. Just buy the book. I don't want to meet you. I don't want to know you, family members. I recently, unfortunately, may she rest, went to my mother-in-law's funeral over the
My
weekend, and
thoughts.
God bless her. I miss her, and she was a wonderful lady. And it was hard, but I love her. May she rest. And my husband was introducing me to his family, and he's like, this is my wife, she's a horror author. And I'm like, "No, don't say that. Why do you have to include that? I don't want these people, I see them, I don't want them reading it, they'll think I'm a weirdo." Like I was saying earlier about the taboo of
Mhm.
maybe, yeah, women being a little bit but I'm shy to begin with. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So
I am too, and I have a YouTube channel, which is weird, but
yeah, I mean, we don't have to see this. We don't have to like put it on and watch ourselves at all. So it's
no,
cool. It's all
I
good.
rarely watch my own interviews back unless unless during the editing process. So like,
Okay.
but every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I felt like that was a great interview, and I'll rewatch it back. But it's not on the regular though.
Oh, I'll probably never see this, to be honest with you. My husband will probably give me the feedback or something, or some family member. I'm never going to see this. But I do enjoy your show, and you're doing a
Thank
great
you.
job, actually. I do appreciate you speaking for the indie voices out there because someone has to,
Someone has to.
and
No one else is. I
someone
mean,
has to. I noticed that there really are too many channels devoted to, I know some movies maybe, but
yes,
authors too. I'm very appreciative of that.
yes.
It's indie
I try to
authors.
include everyone. I mean, I agree. Yes, indie filmmakers. I think there might be like a handful that might do this, but indie authors get no love at all, which is crazy.
No, no. We could be making other people millions of dollars. We're never going to be rich, but you know, we can be making company a lot of money, and they just overlook us. And something I actually learned recently is that they keep an eye out for self-published authors to see how many sales they make, and before you know it, the higher up companies like the Random Houses will suddenly notice you and take a liking to you because of how many sales you've made. But that works for people, which I wish success to for every self-published author out there. I'm not. I have a publisher. I was fortunate with that, but I've been hustling with this since November 12th, 1999. I've been doing this. So
Nice.
yeah, I've been filling them mailboxes all around Brooklyn, stuffing them in with my mom, stuffing them in those envelopes where they used to say no self-published allowed. And it was so like bad to do that. And I wound up doing it anyway because I want to, you know, have a
Mhm.
story to, I want to do it, but never tell my family though. I was too shy about it. So I was hustling though, and what happens is in life afterwards, after some time, you get an opportunity, and fortunately, I don't have to pay for this one, but you just hope and pray for the best, and it's really for the satisfaction of, like I said, being more, even if you're underrated and overlooked, just being a respected author was my goal, and having my voice heard in one venue or another. So
And
that
that's
worked out.
absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing because it's hard, believe it or not, it's hard for me to get indie horror author interviews. Um, Indie filmmakers, I can get
Really?
them. I can get about 20 a day if I wanted to, right? Because I mean, there's so many indie horror filmmakers, and
Yes.
majority of my interviews. But like I try to make posts and groups and even in indie horror groups, and no one. It's a small percentage that actually hits me back in. So like, um, so there's a lot of marketing companies like Mike, as we know. Um,
Yes.
I reached out to him. I was like, hey, because I do a lot of horror interviews, filmmakers. I was like, hey, by the way, do you have any women who do horror authors? And he's like, internet. I was like, awesome, because I love, and it's some of my best interviews are with women horror authors. I don't know why. I mean, because I mean, I'm assuming you guys are amazing, but like it's some of the best interviews.
Thank you. We women who you have interviewed, I did follow your show. I like it. They come across wonderful people, and it's interesting how
Yes,
horror fans are actually pretty damn cool.
I
It's
know.
yeah, like they're the coolest people, and yeah, women are. You're right. They have something to say about their art too,
Hmm.
and it's a little biased, and I'm I have that women syndrome where I'm like, oh my, don't make your father buy my book. Don't make your mom get that. Don't let I just feel awful. But thank you for speaking out, especially for almost like the minority of authors out there who are horror author females, and we have been loving horror our whole life, and you are making it fairer for us. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I
You're welcome. And
appreciate you.
you're welcome. And I run into a lot of women horror authors. Guess where? And I get it at horror
Hmm,
conventions. Women horror authors are always at horror conventions, and we always exchange the information. And that's how I get a lot of my interviews with women horror
that's
authors. Horror
awesome.
conventions.
They're the nicest people.
Hmm.
They're the nicest people.
And it's great too because I can buy their book and read it before the interview. So it's
Ah,
always amazing. Like it's a win-win.
I'm doing I don't know if you see what we do in the shadows. I'm doing a Naja, you
Yes.
know. And yeah, so that's great. It's almost like you're a scout for us horror
Yes. Yes.
writers. Thank
Yes.
you.
So
And
that's what I do. I do a walkthrough video for my channel, but also I'm scouting horror authors to interview,
that's
and
great.
I always buy a copy of their book too, and I give them a free plug. So
Sweet.
I love the indie. All right, so let's shoot to the fun part of the interview. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, ready.
All right. So this is a horror channel, so some with three horror questions. All right.
Okay, you got it.
What is one horror movie that's iconic but you feel is overrated? Not
Mm,
necessarily bad, just overrated.
ugh, I don't. I appreciate all of the work, the details, and everything, but I don't like any of the Conjuring movies or the Nun or Annabelle or any of those type. And my biggest gripe is really with Ghostface because I don't consider him. I know you're gonna hear a lot of shit about this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fuck you up this way. I'm sorry. But I don't consider Ghostface to be a slasher because he changed every time. It's almost like a who done it. So I don't like calling him a slasher is a little bit offensive to us 80s, early 90s kids.
And I agree. If I was going to do a top 20, let's say, of iconic horror characters, I can't even put him in because it's a different one every time. So, like,
Right,
his body of work is so limited to one movie. So, like,
right.
it's a different.
I just lost like 2/3 of people potentially buying my book just now, but please.
By the way,
That's cool.
I love Scream 6. Scream 6 is my favorite horror movie of the year so far. I love
I
Scream
d-
6.
I didn't give it a chance because like I said, I don't like the who I love who done it, but it's like god damn, no.
I
Just
walked
doesn't do
in. There was two movies this year. I walked into the movie theater. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna hate this fucking movie. I'm gonna fucking hate it. I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it. Hate it. And it was Scream 6 and Saw X. And
Oh.
I loved both of them. Loved both of them.
I was very pleasantly surprised with Midsummer and
Midsummer's amazing.
Heredity. Yeah,
Yes. And
Hereditary.
Terry. Yes.
Yeah, whatever
A
it's called.
mouthful.
Yeah, mouthful, whatever it's called. But yeah, I was pleasantly very surprised and happy with those.
Second question: who is your favorite horror female horror villain?
I would have to say, if you want to consider, damn, I have a favorite female villain. I'll say my favorite that I champion for is Claire Higgins as Julia Cotton in Hellraiser. You don't
Okay.
get any more wicked than the wicked stepmother of, all
Because
time.
in the first two movies, she is the villain. I mean, it's not Pinhead. Pinhead makes a brief appearance.
I've gotten into several online wars to the point where I had to take down my posts on Facebook saying that Pinhead is not a slasher. He is a hell priest. And of course, the hardcore fans say in part three he was
Part
a
three
slasher.
and from
Okay.
on, yes,
A little
but
bit, yes. But technically, he's a priest.
yes,
And I'm sorry, Julia was the villain in that.
she was a
So,
villain
and
in the first two. I mean, and he
hmm
just came in for a quick guest appearance and he rolled out.
don't you love it when you just wait so long for just that short amount of time, like the Anthony Hopkins in he only has like not even like 35 minutes of screen time in Silence of the Lambs. You just can't
Yes,
wait for those Cenobites. You can't wait for Anthony Hopkins. You can't wait.
yes, you can't wait. You're like the buildup is insane.
Absolutely.
Number three. Which one should I ask you?
Annie, give me a fourth one.
Okay. Who is your favorite final guy? Final guy.
Um, final guy, final guy, final guy. I'm gonna have to pass on that. I have to think, and I
Okay.
have to
Come
think
back to
really
it.
hard on that. Yeah, I have to
Okay.
think about that one.
Who is your favorite final girl then?
Oh, well, believe it or not, Ashley Lawrence says Kirsty. I happen to be a big Hellraiser
Really?
fan. Yes,
I can tell.
I think she did something that I would do for my father if I thought he was in hell too. If you love somebody, you go to the pits of hell for them. And as far as even monsters, the only one I could really relate to and actually applaud the most is Pumpkinhead because of that
Yes.
spirit of vengeance. You want to get after that person who killed the thing and person you love the most. So, yeah.
Did you like the new Hellraiser reboot or whatever it was?
I am very nasty and mean and cruel when it comes to reboots, but with that, I was absolutely fascinated.
It was
I thought
fun.
it was incredible fun. I thought it was a real great imagining of, and I thought it was almost like a little bit of a genie kind of twist to it. I like how they got into
Hmm.
Leviathan. And long story short, my only complaint, because I'm a bitch, is because I'm actually nice. I'm just a big horror fan. Is I just didn't like the cohesion of the outfits of the Cenobites. They looked a little robotic and they didn't look much very priestly. And I was kind of expecting it didn't have to be leather like 1980s, S&M rock and roll, but I just wish they had better, aesthetics. But otherwise, I gave it an A. I loved it.
I I love the movie. The thing I liked least about the movie was the main character. She was kind of fucking annoying.
Really?
I
I
thought she was
I
a little annoying. I mean, she got a lot of people killed because
she
of
did.
her
She
nonsense.
did.
Like her fucking nonsense.
I actually felt very bad for her, and I could have
Did you?
related. I
She got a
could
lot
have
of innocent
related.
people killed. She got a lot of
I
innocent
felt
people killed with her
bad.
fucking nonsense.
I know, but I don't want to be okay. Spoiler alert: the whole brother thing broke my heart at the end. So yeah, she isn't my
Yes.
favorite character, but I did feel for her
Okay.
and her brother because I happen to love and adore my brother. So that makes sense. That
All right.
little
So I'm gonna.
bitch.
I know. I was like, oh my god, she's so fucking annoying. I thought, oh, okay.
Fucking hell.
But not as annoying as the two sisters in that recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that was on Netflix. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh, I'm not even gonna get into that because that's just I'm gonna be cruel with that one.
Those sisters were so fucking annoying.
I absolutely appreciate again the work that went into it, but I hated that movie like poison. I hated it.
Ah,
It could have gone somewhere with Leatherface because they were talking about this place, his mother. It was like, oh, you're gonna get into who his mother is and
it was a
everything.
big, scary Letterface too. Like
Yeah,
it was crazy that the person who I liked the most, the character I liked the most, was a character that I would thought I would like the least, and that was the hillbilly gun freak guy
Oh, of course, yeah.
I love him. Like in the
I know.
beginning, they're trying to portray him like he was an asshole or something. No,
Yeah.
he was the best character in the movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
was sad to see
interesting.
him die.
I think they were trying to make these kids as annoying as Franklin was. So they
Do you
tried to
think
make this
so?
like
Oh, they were
conjured up some
annoying. I
like
was like, kill everybody.
everyone hates Franklin, so they're like, how can we
Yeah.
make everyone like hate the
Uh,
person that Leatherface is gonna kill? Make them
uh,
like
I,
these
I
new
mean,
age kids.
even Sarah Hardesty, they brought her character back. Like she was annoying. Like
Oh, she wasn't even in it.
everybody.
She wasn't even in it. What was the point? Who cares that Sally can't? I mean, who cares? What did she do? I'm here. I'm
Sally, yeah,
back.
Sally.
Oh,
I mean, not Sarah,
boom,
that's Sally.
boom. Goodbye. Okay, thanks. Wow. That was really a Laurie Strode moment of 3 parts right there. Thanks.
Oh, it was such a bad movie.
I'm sorry. It was like my least favorite movie. That, and I hated the new Predator movie. I'm sorry. The Prey.
Oh, I
Oh,
loved Prey. I
I
love
hated
Prey.
Prey. I loved the idea when I first heard of it, of this whole like Native American ancient culture, seeing him and knowing him. And I'm like, there is no chance in hell this woman who's this tiny and petite and everything is going to be like killing Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a problem killing Predator, but this young girl who's like 20 years old knows how to kill Predator. I'm sorry, I am losing people right now,
You're losing
nonstop.
people, but let's lose some more people. Let's talk about something. In movies, okay, listen, we're going to go on
No, I
topic
don't
about
mind.
something.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
In movies, why is it now in the year 2023? It's been this way since the last 10 to 15 years. Like, they try to make it believable that a 120-pound woman can beat Jason or Michael Myers in a fucking fight, or not even
Yeah,
that. In action movies, can whip 20 grown ass assassins ass. Like,
yeah.
is that believable?
I can believe it because Bruce Lee was not, buff like Arnold
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger. If they had like years and years and years of training and maybe a couple of, you know, black belts or something under their belt, maybe it's believable. Other than that, I'm just so freaking annoyed that they have to do this whole girl power thing to emphasize, oh, girls are just as strong, girls are, capable of fighting back. Yeah, we are. I think
sure.
we'd do a better job if we had a goddamn shotgun. I mean, we don't have to do like karate on Michael Myers to kill him or something. It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just I like it more believable to that degree. They can't force me to believe, like I said about
because
Prey.
women do not win battles with brute strength. They win it with their brains,
I
traps,
like that better. I
and
think
stuff
even
like
men.
that.
Yeah, I even appreciate a man who uses his mind to eliminate their foe. I mean, I like that better. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, Arnold and Predator and all that. That's like
Yes. I would
badass and
love to see
everything.
a woman like set up a whole bunch of booby traps to catch
Yeah,
Jason or something. Like
right.
a
Like
woman
Ashley,
going into a fist fight with Jason is not believable to me.
no, but I do love Amy Steele, so I did like her very much, and I like how she killed Jason, and she was
But she
allowed
used her
to.
brain. She used her
She
brain
used her
to kill
brain.
her.
She used to. That's right. There you go. I didn't even remember that
She
part.
tricked him.
Yeah, well, look at what's her name? Kirsty in Hellraiser. There I go again. No
Yes.
wonder I'm into debauchery. Um, in Hellraiser, Kirsty outwitted with making deals and making, promises and using noggin.
Your
So,
brain. Like, I
oh,
mean,
right.
that's my biggest problem with the last Halloween was like we're expecting to believe that a 70-year-old Laurie Strode is whipping Michael Myers' ass in the kitchen. Like,
I was very disturbed by that movie for the simple fact that he is complete and utter evil, and seeing him so pathetic, even though he's a villain, was really like disturbing to me that this he just whooped their asses in part 2, and you're
I
kind
mean,
of
he killed
you
6 firefighters
he killed six
barehanded,
firefighters.
back to back to
Yes,
back, killed
he
the
is
whole
the
town, fought
he,
all of the members of town back to back, killed all of them, and now
thank you.
he's in the kitchen with a 70-year-old woman getting his ass whipped.
I just loved I was in the movie theater and I was watching it and I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna get his ass kicked by the whole town. I hate this movie. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna walk out." Then boom, he comes out and I'm cheering him on.
Just
And
fucking
then
people up.
and then this child wants to be like the new Michael Myers and everything. And I'm like, "Oh God, don't do it again." But it leaves room maybe for another one, I hope,
No,
because
I hope not.
you can never get tired of them.
I need a
They're all
break from
good.
I need a break from Halloween. That last
Give
one
me
really
Jason.
fucked me up. That last
Oh,
one fucked
that
me up.
I need a break from Halloween myself. There've
Yeah.
been one, two, three. We need another Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, I enjoy the reboot. Most people didn't. I love the reboot.
I didn't hate it. No, I thought it was pretty
I
good. It was
enjoyed it.
decent.
It was a
But what
fresh
did they
spin.
expect? What did they expect? It's like Camp Crystal Lake. You're gonna get
Yeah.
slashed.
Because here's my thing: the Friday the 13th movies out of the big top five, right? The big hiker. It has, I think, the worst movies. Probably. I'm not saying I don't enjoy them, but they're
In a
definitely
good
the
way.
worst movies in the series. Like they're campy. There's not good acting. There's no story. It's literally you can watch part three and it's the same as part four. Like there's no
Yeah, there's no cohesion or anything like that. Yeah.
yes, there's no character development or anything. Um, so like, what are you expecting? Something like when people were talking, I'm like,
Yeah.
what were you expecting? Like, have you ever watched a Friday the 13th movie in your whole entire fucking life? Like this, like, were you expecting great acting or something? Like, to
Yeah,
be
like
honest,
some
they had the best acting out of any of them.
you want the bad acting. That's what makes it enjoyable is the campiness of it
And
all and the
someone was
whole
saying,
way.
I can't
Maybe
believe those women were just flashing their fucking titties. Like, have you ever watched a Friday the 13th movie ever? Titties just come out for
it's
no
a
reason at all.
it's funny, back then they didn't have X Hamster, so they waited for them horror movies to come out to see them titties, so it don't matter. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a Friday the 13th movie. You're gonna see some random titties, no reason at all. They're just
Yeah.
gonna come out.
Well,
And that's part of the movie.
maybe that's why women have this stigma with horror too, because they don't like the women being exploited in these horror movies, perhaps. That might be another reason why female writers or creators or
But he loves
directors make
Terrifier.
because they're in love with him for some reason. They are in love with Art the Clown.
I
I am
don't know
convinced
why, because
I
I've
I
had super feminist women on here, and I would ask them
mhm.
who's their favorite horror character, and they'll look me right dead in my eyes and say Art the Clown, and
They're
I'm
in love
like,
with him.
Art the Clown, like
I yeah.
it's
I
the
do
most
like him.
he's like the most misogynistic
Yeah,
horror
right.
character
He's like,
there is.
yeah, he's doing like the worst things to women possible. But what I do like about him, the actor was really great. And
Nice guy,
sorry,
but yes, nice guy.
yes, he's very nice. Yes. And what's funny is he had that whole black and white movie vibe by not talking, and he was wearing black and white, like Lon Chaney kind of laugh, clown, laugh, kind of 1920s silent movie type. And part one was pretty good. I mean, it was
I didn't like part one. I love part two.
shockingly good. I didn't care for part two. I thought it dragged on a bit, but I
I love
liked
part
the
two.
original. You did?
I
Okay, we're
hate.
gonna.
I'm saying hate it. I didn't like part one at all. Part
You
two
appreciated part two.
was like leaps and bounds. Like I mean, it
Really?
actually had a story. Like part one didn't have a story. Like it was
Mhm.
just porn. I mean, it's just gore porn, like all the way
Mhm.
through. Yeah, and
Yeah.
at least part two had a story and some characters that you actually cared about. You know,
Yes,
so
yeah, they were. I think my favorite art was actually the one from the anthology, and I miss anthologies. I like the old school Vincent Price anthologies and the Tales from the Crypt ones of
yeah,
like
but
the Brits make too, and those were
creep
pretty
show,
damn
all that
cool. And
stuff.
Creep Show, yeah, they should really reach out more for anthos. I think they're fun, and I think they would be popular too.
I agree. All right, internet. Where can everyone find you?
Where can they find me?
Yes,
Okay, you can
not the
find me.
address.
Okay, I would have. No one would be able
No.
to find it. I'm in the middle of nowhere right now. I mean, I got Bigfoot as a neighbor. If he's smart, he would find me. Amazon.com, Antoinette Corvo or Antoinette Corvo Caswell. Godless, naturally, I made it there. And obviously Barnes and Noble and pretty much any booksellers. And right now, Mike, as you know him, he's working on
Mhm.
helping me with my website, and I'm just trying to launch myself a bit more and getting there. And still getting a little vibe of my niche, but I go with the flow and what I feel like writing. And if it surprises people and shocks people, I don't care. But if they're my family members, I don't want them to know about it.
Yes.
You've been a
Every,
doll. Thank you so much.
everybody, please check out Antoinette's work. Go on to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and grab The Cat Caught the Canary.
Thank you
Antoinette, it's been an
guys.
absolute pleasure. You're
Yes,
welcome on
same.
anytime. Anytime, okay?
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's a pleasure meeting you, Travis. Thank
You
you.
too. Everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.